Cool. Hello. So
Here we
this
are.
is episode 6.
Believe it is, yeah. We're back with a vengeance.
I feel like we are, we're going through all the seasons. We're back. We're sort of hit. The last one we did, it was all like, tan, bright-eyed, and bushy-tailed, and now we're sort of in
Dishevelled.
now we're sort of in the
winter.
depths, knee-deep into like late autumn, winter. And the woolies are on, the thick tights are on. Anyway,
The leaves are
I
falling.
digress. So I think in this episode, we're going to talk about all things AI. We're going to talk about all things newsy. We're just going to sort of give our interpretation or our opinion on certain things that we've seen in the news over the last few weeks. Music news, right?
Yep, music news.
Go on. So
recent news.
recent news.
Universal has now sued an AI company called Anthropic.
Ooh.
And they're basing the sue on an infringement case
Yeah.
on lyrics, basically. So Anthropic is a generative AI company, and
Right.
it was being used to scan the internet for lyrics and
Right.
song material, and it basically scrapes loads of data, sifts through it, and compiles new song lyrics. So the idea is that using inspiration and material from the internet, you create new things.
Yeah.
What they're arguing is that it's a copyright case and it's infringement that they're using these lyrics.
Right.
So the interesting thing is, songwriters do this on a daily basis, right? So how is that any different?
Yeah.
Because
So
they're using the same material.
So they're being obviously you can't write something word for word, can you? Like that's infringement. But to be inspired,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's the same thing.
Are they creating original lyrics from the sweep of the internet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's producing original lyrics, but what
Yeah.
Universal is arguing that those lyrics are theirs, and therefore they're entitled to the copyright of those lyrics because it's being used in such a way
Yeah.
to create new lyrics. But
Yeah.
you could argue that this is what songwriters do every day, right? This is what
They do. They sit there in a
they
big
use
room.
material
Yeah.
online or wherever they find it, and through the
Regurgitate
algorithms
it.
of their mind, they regurgitate it and new things come out, and that's
Yeah.
how our songs are made.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's their own experiences as well that they put into it, but I mean, how much of everything that's created is truly original?
Yeah.
Like, you could hark back to whenever a song inspired you at an early age, for example. And you the algorithm in your head created the song that you created today. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tricky. I don't know what sort of world are we moving
I
into.
mean, we're just at the tip of something that's going to be huge and like, and I don't know. I think Universal have got a mammoth task ahead of them. I mean, they need to probably strengthen their legal team because it's only just going to come at them thick and fast, right? They were hot on the heels of quite an interesting artist, actually, a guy called Posse Unit, what had he done? We read in the media this week.
I think he'd used Taylor Swift's vocal and he inputted his own lyrics into it.
Yeah.
So what this AI tool
Sounded like her.
Yeah, so there's another AI tool that can turn vocals of any famous artist that you like into your own song.
Yeah.
All you need to do is pick this favorite artist and input your song lyrics and your melody. You have to sing it in your own voice, I think, and it'll then turn your own voice into someone like Ed Sheeran, Taylor Swift,
Crazy.
whatever it is.
Yeah, but then anyone can do that. Anyone can be inspired vocally by someone famous, right?
Yeah, I mean, what's the
Like, how
difference
many-
between that and sampling? I'm trying to see it from both sides here. So, like, obviously they want to protect the rights over Taylor Swift's work, but how do you define sampling versus actually just taking it outright from, copyright infringement? Are they sampling her voice?
Yeah.
Or are they just ripping her voice off completely?
Yeah.
Is
Well,
it
we know
like-
in this case he was ripping her voice off completely. I mean, the guy's a lunatic. You just have to check out his Instagram to see what his opinions
Maybe there's a
are.
fine line between madness and genius, though, right?
There always is. There always is. But yeah, for example, with that one, he's all over the media. I mean, I think it's just because he went out there and put like featuring Taylor Swift-esque AI vocals. You're going to get yourself into trouble, aren't you? I mean, he could have gone under the radar and just had the sound of her voice,
That's true.
in his music, and no one would have bloody known. I mean, how many people sound like Michael Jackson, like The Weeknd? You know, there's so many people that are inspired by that range of, like, you know, singing style. You know?
Absolutely.
Like, it's ridiculous. I think it was just because he stirred the hornet's nest by just putting Taylor Swift all over it. I mean, needless to say, the track's come down now. It did actually rack up quite a few 100,000 plays. So I think he tried to, you know, he certainly rode the wave, but this is only going to get bigger and uglier, you know.
I think the dam's about to break.
It's about to break. And it's crazy.
It feels like the dawn of, what was it, 2000? When
Napster?
Yeah. I remember Napster and how Spotify came to being eventually.
Yes, yeah.
And they were fighting these the streaming companies that were building ways to just stream music for free, and they were arguing, well, this is the inevitability of the internet, like what the hell, you know, what are you doing? We have a right to do this, you can't stop innovation. And in the end they couldn't stop it. The dam broke, and this is the same thing that's happening. They'll have to find ways to work with it, I think. I think suing people outright is probably the first sign that things are changing.
Definitely. There will be an equilibrium, and there will be a happy medium somewhere down the line, probably not too far away, actually, when the likes of Universal and stuff find that they just cannot, you know, hold back the fire, you know, as it were. So, you know, there is going to be some positive changes. I mean, it's great, like, as a musician, or if you work in the industry. I've just completed a course in AI. I learned so much, stuff that helped us in our day-to-day, you know, kind of running of the business, email marketing. We've now got implemented like a chatbot on our site. I mean, AI can really accelerate everything you do, you know, as an artist, but also on the industry side. I use Jasper, which is a tool I've embedded within my email. It actually understands my tone and my style of writing. I just have to start writing a couple of words, and it actually finishes my emails. It's fucking weird, but it's great. You know, it's really good. And there's so much more.
Yeah.
You know,
I think what's really interesting now is we're at the dawn of generative AI. Up until now, AI has just looked at data that we've already given it.
Yeah.
For example, it's told us, okay, you give it all the data, and it comes up with an analysis and says, okay, it suggests this. Now it's actually creating things.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, I think what we're going to see with the music industry, it is a whole new world of generated music assets, like songs, pictures, video, created by AI.
Yeah.
There's even a new platform recently, in other news, by the way, called Trinity, which was launched by Grimes' company.
Oh, I love everything that girl does.
Yeah, so
what's she up to?
So she's like this magical elf that's creating all these wondrous things with AI. And it's going to be a platform for other artists who want to create AI-generated content. And I think that there's a big opportunity there for artists to get involved.
Amazing.
But the downside is we've got to come up against where that material is sourced from. So are they going to get infringement copyright cases from the majors? You know, by using that material.
Right now they will.
Or are people going to try and avoid certain artists when they create AI music? So yeah, it's a new world.
But it's great though, because imagine if you're an artist and you've originally written a hit, and you haven't quite been able to meet that same hit again, quality of hit that you wrote maybe 2 years ago. You could kind of put it in some AI generated sort of music maker, and it might be able to recreate the hit that you made 2 years ago into a brand new hit, you know, based on what you've fed it and what you've taught it and trained it. So it's fantastic. I can't wait. I'm like very excited about the future of AI and all the great things. And, you know, like we were saying, there's so many cool things that you can do, like even in the setting of this room. Like 1 minute we can pretend we're in the Louvre and we've got the Mona Lisa right behind us, right?
Next minute the door disappears.
It's so useful for those many things, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a limitless possibility, really. I think we're just at the dawn of it, but it's interesting to see how the big players are reacting to it. They're getting very defensive.
Yeah.
And it just harks back to 2000.
Yeah.
When they were getting defensive about streaming, when that started to rise up. So I think we're about to enter a new world. There'll be a lot of conflict, but out of it, I think will come some really amazing.
Yeah, like some amazing art. I mean, look at the latest release from the Beatles. I mean, who thought we'd ever have a new Beatles single out? Like, really? Like, come on. It's such an epic, epic, epic moment.
Yeah, I mean, I love anything with the Beatles, and to hear John Lennon sing again, I think it was great, but it felt
How
like...
did they do it?
It felt like the Beatles HD. You know, I think a lot of music now is a HD version of the past. So it's got this nostalgic thing, but the instruments are amplified like massively. Everything's just a lot louder, a lot clearer, and kind of not how the Beatles sound in the way that you.
I thought it sounded exactly like they would.
I mean, you hear John Lennon, but you don't quite hear that original production. I don't know. So there's some purists out there that would prefer it the old way, but I like what they've done. I think it's really clever. They extracted his vocal from a piano piece he did back in the 70s, I think.
But surely there must be so much more in that vault of theirs.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
is this just the beginning? Like in terms of all those old legacy bands and artists and stuff that were never, never quite managed to finish that, like that original demo back in, I can't wait. There's going to be so much great stuff that's going to come out. All their estates are probably licking their lips right now thinking, more money to be made. But so I mean, in terms of music and AI, I think just to wrap up, I think it's a really interesting sort of phase. I think certainly as a creative, I think it's quite overwhelming. I think there's a lot of different tools and platforms and music makers, and but it's really, really good for content generation for sure. Like if you're an artist and you just hate putting content out, I mean, you can create so many prompts and scripts on how to kind of present yourself on TikTok, and even like a tool I'm using at the moment called Jasper that will actually scan your Instagram, figure out your style, your tone, your way, and then it will just start to post for you. Basically, it will actually do all of your content for you. And that's great, and that's like £20 a month or something.
It's interesting how I find older people are embracing this technology almost faster than the younger people. But like if you compare it to when, for example, Instagram came out and it was like the big thing, right? You get in touch with your 14-year-old cousin to try and figure out how to use it properly and so how to get the most out of it. Now I feel like it's flipped a little bit. I mean, some young people disagree with me, some Gen Zers, whatever. But I think the general feel is that some of the older generation are embracing it faster because they are late to the curve, behind the curve on social media. Now they're in social media and all over it. Now the new technology is coming in, they're embracing it a lot quicker. And I think, well, hopefully, we'll see a lot more young people coming into it as well and using these tools. Yeah, it's all there for the taking, basically. So, tell us about some of the other tools that you sort of come across. Okay, so what else did I come across? I mean, ChatGPT, obviously. I'm sure everyone's got bloody ChatGPT now. There's also one called Claude, which is Claude.ai, which is exactly the same. ChatGPT is great because they just have more and more and more newer plugins coming on. The latest one they have is DALL-E 3. So basically it just creates some beautiful imagery for you based on like kind of prompts that you put in. So if you can't afford a graphic designer, graphic designers, I kind of worry about your futures, because you can do all of this like stuff quite easily now on DALL-E 3 basically. Midjourney as well. I think you just need to understand how to use the tools and what prompts and what kind of, there's a series of things that can create some beautiful art. So if you're looking for like album artwork, single artwork, tiles for your Instagram, it's all there. It's literally there. Just got to spend a few hours basically. And so Midjourney, great one for art direction creation. DALL-E 3, some ChatGPT. What else is there? DALL-E 3 actually can also read an image as well, so you can put an image in and literally tell you exactly what's going on in that image, which is fantastic as well. Again, because it's like reinterpreting things, or you can say, here's an image,
can you kind of create something that's similar? And it will do that now as well. So it's really clever.
So what do they say with the future isn't going to be taken over by AI, it'll be taken over by people who use AI?
Pretty much, yeah. I hope so.
That's well, for the golden era until it's the robots take over.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. That's it. And other things like, for example, you know, we kind of reach out to lots of different brands and things like that. And I've kind of, I'm looking at other platforms at the moment. So next time, actually, when we do the second one, I'll let you know the ones that are working, because there's so much out there. It's freaking overwhelming. That's the problem, I think. There's too much, and there's too many bad AI tools as well. You know, spend a lot of time and effort, and then you realise actually it's not that great.
Yeah.
They're only going to get better.
It's a golden era, but you just got to learn how to use the tools.
Learn how to use the tools. So
throw yourself head first into it.
Yeah. So next, I sort of thought we could talk a little bit about Christmas sort of releases and things like that. Obviously, it is the season. What advice could you give to any artist that's thinking of releasing at this time of year?
Don't be scared.
Good time, or is it a bad time?
An excellent time. It's the best time. Don't be scared. Don't follow the herds. Don't be the sheep. This is your opportunity to really cut through the noise, because there's going to be less traffic.
So true.
During the holiday season, people generally pull back and don't.
People think they always go, do I need to? I'll wait till next year. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Do they need a Christmas song?
Possibly. I'd say keeping it seasonal does work. I mean, like, you know, it just feels more relevant, and it doesn't have to be corny. You can get creative.
You know, do we need to be busting out the sort of Mariah Carey or Shane McGowan type things, or
AI version? You know, it's
a remix.
It's a really quiet time, actually. For
people think it's busy. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Where I think artists come stuck is they tend to copy each other. So everyone goes, well, I'll wait till January now to put on my next release. Well, why wouldn't all the other artists be doing the same thing? And it turns out they are. So you're going to have more competition for placement. Yeah. So that's players, placements, influencers, radio, press. They're all coming thick and fast and competing for those slots. So it's actually an easier time to get your sort of release out during Christmas and to get more audience, more fans.
We had an artist actually that released on Christmas Day when we first started the company. Do you remember? I just had the baby, and
I think we were taking calls on Christmas Eve,
and Adam was like liaising with an artist, and he was like, I want to put the tracks out on Christmas Day, and we're like, okay. But you know what? That was probably one of the most successful releases we did. Didn't we? Like, he had so much like press, so much great like editorial and independent playlists and things like that. So yeah, definitely honestly consider it. Don't be scared, don't be shy. The only other alternative would be, my suggestion would be to release on like the 3rd or 4th of Jan. Again, everyone always waits to the end of Jan.
That's true.
Everybody releases at the end of Jan. On the 3rd or 4th, people are actually like, they're over the Christmas slumber, and they're like, yeah, come on, fancy something, new year, new me, new song.
Exactly, and you kind of set the tone for the rest of the year. If you're that artist that can wake up on New Year's Day and put out a song, chances are you've got the work ethic that other artists don't have.
That is so true.
I think that in itself sets the motivation for success for the rest of the year. So don't hold back. Go for it. Don't be like everyone else. Do your thing. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Another thing that sort of has come into the spotlight this week actually is so Spotify are really clamping down on artificial streaming, which is great. I mean, you know, absolutely. I get so annoyed when I go onto certain playlists. I can see that all of the followers are botted. I mean, it's really obvious to spot. What might actually, if people don't know, how do you spot?
It's a tough thing because bots getting smarter, right?
Cleverer.
And the developers of these bots are figuring out ways to bypass detection. Yeah. But one of the obvious things to look for those that don't bypass detection are things like spikes in followers. So if you've got a sudden jump or you've got a spike or you have a sudden drop off in followers, that's an indication that they probably bought the followers, and they're paying for the streams behind it. Now, for an artist, it might feel great, but Spotify is clamping down that they can actually make the labels pay. Apparently, is that right? For the
they're going to make
streams.
The labels and the distributors. They're going to fine them. So, and interestingly, this week there was actually a really interesting article on Reddit about DistroKid. Now, DistroKid, quite an interesting distributor. I think that Spotify do have a stake in them. That's what I read. They've actually sent a blanket email to all of their artists saying, we've detected you've used artificial streams. If you pay us $10 or something like that, we will take the strike off. So they said that they'll give you they're offering a strike. So people are a little bit, there's so much discussion around this on Reddit. So many people are like, are they doing this just to earn this extra $10 basically? Because there's loads of people and they go, I haven't used third-party marketing agency. Third-party marketing agencies always get a bad rep.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not cool. You know, we facilitate and support the likes of Spotify and all the distributors. We're there to work with them. But it feels like they always try and spin the gun on us.
Yeah, it does. It's particularly certain names like the ones you mentioned.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's really annoying.
I'm gonna rob something.
Yeah.
Put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
Accuse you of robbing it, and then make you pay for the fact that you're guilty. So give me the money, and I won't tell on you, even though I've actually set you up. Yeah. I think that's unfortunately the reality of what could well happen.
Yeah.
So it's just to be mindful of certain rogue behaviour like that, and to be super wary of it. We do our absolute best to avoid any kind of bot playlist, or we always constantly scan playlists for it, any kind of rogue behaviour.
Yeah,
and if we do find anything, we'll remove them. So as an artist, you can do the same. I would suggest tools. There's great tools like Chartmetrics, which are good for looking at previous follow accounts. You can also you can look at things like where the streams are coming from as well on Spotify. If there's certain cities.
Yeah.
I mean, you might know some of them. I think Buffalo, Jakarta's a few.
Yeah, Buffalo, Albuquerque or something.
Yeah. So where the bot farms are located.
Yeah. Yeah, but they may have all changed. You know, that was back in then.
Yeah.
And, you know, and this was only a few months ago when I looked into it. But if you are an artist and you're slightly concerned, or if maybe you've been put on a playlist that you didn't even want to be put on, and someone's put it, because the weirdest thing with this situation is, you could be really horrible if you had like an enemy. You could just chuck them onto a botted playlist. Like you could though, couldn't you? You could pay for them to be on a botted playlist, and then the track could come down. I mean, how cruel is that? There's still lots, I think, to be done there. But I think that Spotify, you know, it's great that they're cracking down. I think they want to go after the bad guys, they said, which is, come on, just remove the playlists. You know, just surely you've got technology that you can just remove the playlists.
Yeah.
Why are you penalising the poor artists and the distributors and the labels?
Exactly.
To me,
we need some kind of automatic playlist remover by Spotify.
Yeah, and they don't do that because it's more in their advantage to keep that playlist on there, I think.
Or to keep the artist off the platform.
Exactly.
Less royalties to pay.
Exactly.
Ultimately, the business model set up to build subscribership, isn't it? So it's not necessarily to build listenership.
Exactly.
So that's something to be mindful of anyway.
Definitely, yeah. So if you get into a panic at all about any of that, like you just got freaking out because you've got an email from your distributor saying we're wishing you a strike, my suggestion is to stay calm, maybe get in touch with the Spotify team, see if anyone gets back to you.
There's usually a good community on their site, isn't there, where they can chat, although it is tough to get hold of an actual person there. But still have the patience and stick with your community. Yeah. And stick to a good distributor as well. One you can talk to, one that's transparent, one that isn't going to set you up. Yeah. It doesn't have a bad reputation. Look into the previous reputation of the distributor. Yeah. And
some of our faves actually are Amuse. We love Amuse, don't we?
Yeah.
Ingrooves and AWOL. We love all three of those. They're fantastic. And there's always a person to talk to. I know that's probably not going to be the case for all of them, but I feel like the ones that we have relationships with, there's always someone we can talk to and get an answer from. So that's pretty lucky, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about brand activations now. I know that a lot of artists are always so excited by the prospect of doing a brand activation because it's fun, it's interesting, it's creative. We've actually got involved with some really cool brand activations this year. As we near the end of the year, we've actually got 2 at the moment that we're working on that are really big. One of them is with a retailer, a British retailer set up by a couple called Rob and Lara. Much like ours, had this vision and a dream, set up this business in lockdown where they just wanted to kind of house a load of really cool British retailers, designers. They've decided they wanted to make it a go-to evening venue spot. So by day it's like really cool. It's got an amazing coffee shop, and then all of the products and the range of retailers around it. And at night they wanted to bring music to the space. So in Step Liberty, we've basically carefully curated on a sort of themed basis a Thursday night live in-store, essentially. I mean, we're king of the in-stores, Liberty, isn't it? We've done all sorts of in-stores. We've done in-stores at Topshop, River Island, we've done loads of stuff, haven't we? Really
Tesla
cool
inside the car.
Yeah, Tesla. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did like a gig in a Tesla. I mean, like how more creative do you want to be? We made a song in a Tesla. Tesla had a new app they were launching within their sort of software in the car, and we got some amazing artists to do create a song in the car. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's really cool. So. Yeah, as an artist, Adam, yourself, how important is it to be performing in unique spaces? And what is a unique space, do you think, to you?
I can speak a little bit from my own experience, but obviously I can see what's happening in the music landscape as well from the artists that we're working with.
Yep.
And what they're asking us. I think they're asking us about different places to play and sponsorship and endorsements and ways they can earn more money. Yeah. And I think working with brands is that opportunity. Rather than doing the toilet circuit and the tried and tested venues we all know, and there's super high levels of competition, really tough to break out of, why not find a nice cool pop-up space, an alternative venue that's owned by a brand?
Yeah, absolutely.
And play in these stores or whatever it is. The lighting's cool, it could be after hours, maybe there's a cellar there, maybe there's and there's cocktail drinks and certain kind of lighting and props and all that kind of stuff. It makes it for an interesting venue.
It's so cool. Yeah,
and also you get endorsement from the brand. So it could be a new frontier for artists to start doing almost like a tour of brand activations.
Yeah.
And I think we want to
watch
try and
this
help
space. Yeah, we're going to be doing some of that next year. We're actually working with quite a few retailers next year, actually, doing a load of in-store immersive kind of gigs. One of the things actually having looked at what's sort of already out there, there's some great stuff like Bang & Olufsen, for example. They've done loads of in-store creative immersive events. They did a collaboration with Flannels, the designer store, and apparently they had a really, really cool night right in the centre of London. They had like MCs and drink sponsors. People had big goodie bags of like stuff. Like, it's just a match made in heaven in terms of like the perfect audience who are likely to shop in Flannels, who really appreciate the music. They came out of a goodie bag. Content was captured, was priceless. So brands and artists really need to get on it. And I think if you're an artist, especially if you're an independent artist, it's probably a great time for you, because trust me, you're more likely to be picked for these opportunities than a signed artist, believe it or not, because signed artists charge way too much, whereas actually a brand may actually be able to afford more a kind of independent budget of artists. And believe it or not, actually they want to support independent talent.
Yeah,
obviously the Ed Sheerans, the Dua Lipas and whatnot is great, but they're brands want to be seen as music discoverers. Okay, they want to be at the forefront of new music.
Yeah. When you compare it to like a standard venue, like let's say the Old Blue Last, or even bigger ones like the Dome. Yeah. Those guys.
Yeah.
Are interested in ticket sales.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas the brand in store.
Yeah.
They're inviting you.
They're just like, it's just good vibes.
Yeah, but they're inviting you into a partnership, and that partnership could be long term. So might not be charging on the door, but what you can do is by presenting to the fans of the brand, and you're creating new fans for yourself also, but you're also building customers for the brand.
Yes.
And so from that, they could invite you back, or they might endorse you in other ways. Maybe you've got a music video coming out, and so you can build this longer term partnership with a brand and have it successful that way. So I think it's a really great opportunity for artists to sort of go off piste a bit now, and to start to discover these new venues.
Definitely. And you know, if you're an artist and you're quite savvy on LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever, and you have some strong themes or going through your music or your style and whatnot, and you think, oh, I would be perfect for Gucci, for example. Maybe you're a bit quirky. Approach somebody. Don't be shy. Just go for it. You know, for every 100 emails you send, you might get one reply. But you know what? Sometimes that one reply is all you need, right? But be personal.
And weird.
So we talk to the Gucci team quite a lot, don't we? We meet up with their brand team. We'll always sit and we go through the artists that we're working with. The one thing they always say to us time and time again is, who are you working with that's weird, that has a little bit of something going on majorly that's outside of music that is so different from music, right? So tell them what sort of things they're normally looking for.
I mean, you might be into, I don't know, what
chess. You could be a chess player.
Yeah, I mean, you could be a train spotter or something.
You could be a train spotter. Yeah, you could be a show pony jumper.
Yeah. But if you can combine that with your image and your brand, and they love that kind of thing.
They do.
I think that what they're looking for is daring people. So people are willing to go off piste and not be confined to a single thing. You know, like all the cliches. They want to avoid the cliches. So
I think it also creates a few dimensions to that person, doesn't it? It creates there's like when you slice through, you got like all these different like layers to unfold. So you're not just a two-dimensional person. There's like more to you, and I think that then allows a story to unravel. You know, a nice story of you. So I think that's pretty key for them, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm not suggesting go out there right now and like, I don't know, learn to stilt walk or whatever. Or then maybe, everyone's got that kind of unique thing.
They probably want to hide as well from that.
They want to hide, okay?
Yeah.
So you've got that thing, try and figure out what it is. Embrace it. Embrace the weird, know?
Yeah.
And I think there's something there. So for example, kind of going back to what we're up to, we're actually working on an amazing, exciting collaboration at the moment with the Beatles, which I never ever thought I'd say.
Yeah, had the approval from Yoko and McCartney himself.
They're part of the original committee signing off team. Apparently all of the marketing that has been approved for this campaign has all gone through them. It's just crazy to think that. So sorry, just going back to it. So it's Maiba. Maiba are a Spanish sports brand. Very iconic heritage brand from the 80s. Maradona famously wore their shirt when he was at Barcelona, amongst lots and lots of other iconic footballers. Then kind of disappeared. The brand, it's the kind of logo you have on the front of the page, front of the shirt, sorry. They've come back. They're really into the sort of partnerships and collaborations, and they've just landed a collaboration with the Beatles. So it's a Beatles-inspired football shirt. It's available now in pre-order. It's out on the 3rd or 4th of December. Sorry, Jonathan, I can't remember the exact date, but it is amazing. It's a selection of 6 or 7 different looks, unisex. Pricing is fantastic. I think the most expensive item is £70 for a really well made, stitched, good fat fabric kind of football shirt with themes of the Abbey Road zebra crossing across. Really lovely. I can't wait.
They've got some cool designs.
Cool designs. Can't wait to get my hands on one. So we're working on that. So what we're doing for them is we're getting obviously the story out far and wide to lots of different big publications. So we're hopefully going to be, we will land NME, we've got Clash, Notion, Earmilk, Wonderland. Hopefully some of the big national newspapers are covering it as well. So that's good. I'm also going to be doing quite an interesting TikTok campaign.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you think you're meeting with Fred again soon?
Yeah. So next week, there's a meeting with Fred again. So that's exciting too. I can't wait to tell you more about that. I don't know what's going to happen there, but yeah, that's happening. So brand collaborations is, it's still as popular as it ever was. We are definitely sort of putting our effort and time into developing and nurturing more of them. So 2024 for us is going to be a really big year for brand collaborations, and we're actually strengthening our team. I'm really excited about that. But as an artist, honestly, let yourself be known. If brand collaborations is something that you're really keen to do, get out there, let the world know, let PR companies know. If you see, those particular agencies that work on really cool activations, get in touch with them. Just say, look, I'm an artist. I'm London based. These are the themes that I stand for in my music. This is my look. Send them a pitch.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
I think it's knowing yourself as an artist, isn't it? Knowing what you stand for.
Brand pillars.
Go lead with your brand pillars.
Yeah.
Maybe not even lead with your music. Obviously, music needs to be good, but lead with your brand pillars, I would say.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Big news this month is that Spotify has struck a deal with TikTok. On TikTok with Spotify and Deezer and Apple. And what does that mean? Obviously, being a TikTok user, you go in, you pick the song you want to use, but there is no link to any of those big DSPs at all. And one of the things that most marketing analysts struggled to understand was whether the traction from Spotify, from TikTok, had a direct correlation with Spotify. And normally you can tell. So say, for example, if your track has been picked up by a ton of TikTok influencers, say, I don't know, yesterday, you would naturally see a spike of plays in Spotify, because it drives everyone to go onto Spotify and listen to the song in full, right? That's what happens. But what is going to happen is they're actually going to integrate each other into each other's platform. So actually, you're actually going to be able to get those analytics.
It's helping with music discovery,
right?
But in a different context, because obviously music discovery is all about the moment. Yes. It's not necessarily, this is an artist who they've released a new song, which is the traditional way to discover new music was, oh, I know this artist, they've just dropped a new song. Whereas now it's, there's a moment on TikTok that's gone viral. Oh, listen to what's that background music? I think what that's going to help is then link that back to Spotify.
To click and then it takes you to Spotify? Yeah. Or does it allow you to just save it there?
It there and then on your ad.
They don't want you to come off their platform, do they?
No, of course not.
So, yeah.
But I think it's interesting for music discovery.
Sorry, I'm going to
I think it might be.
But
I think that, one thing for artists to really recognize is that we live in a world of moment. Everything's in the moment. So we're not living in a world of, when's that artist going to release a new song? I can't wait for the new song to come out.
Yeah.
What we're looking for really is, what was that song on that video I heard saw the other day?
Yeah.
So really there's this movement of creating these moments, and artists getting creative now with how to create moments and how to create virality.
We're only going to see it kind of evolve and get better. And if you haven't explored TikTok, get on there. Come on, it's time really.
It's 2023.
It's 2023, and it's not just a platform for kids and people just doing synchronized dancing. I do a lot of my learning on there. Medical learning, nutritional learning, health. So it's not just kids jumping around. So get on there. Don't be scared.
And get creative on how you can create that viral. Or how you want to introduce new songs. Get creative on how you introduce them. I think that's where the real of the land grab is. The opportunity is like, if I introduce this song in this way, there's through some kind of joke or some prank, and then the song comes in, and then it's part of like a viral video. Then suddenly your song's everywhere. It's like, rather than go, hey guys, new song. I don't think that will cut it anymore.
But you can't do that. You can't do it.
It doesn't cut it. So
you can't do that.
So you need a little bit of foreplay to bring people into your world in some kind of moment, TikTok moment, before they can engage with the song.
Yeah.
So I think that's really key.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. No, absolutely. And I don't know if this is our last. Is this our last episode of the year? Or are we going to try and do one more?
No, we've got another episode.
No, we're going to do
Christmas.
one more for Christmas. Actually, we're going to do a Christmas one.
Yeah.
We're going to do a Christmas one. So we will be back. And I hope you enjoyed today. Obviously, if you can like and share and follow and do all those amazing things, and if you like it, tell your friends as well, please. Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye. Bye.